you described what happened to you, that you turn your pain into purpose to help other people. Can you share more about that? Personal, what actually ignited desire to do something?
Thank you. So prior to my losses, so I actually had another loss shortly after the first one.
Mm,
So my daughter was born about nearly 6 months. So she was born extremely premature, and
mm,
she weighed about 500 grams. And we were told because she was under 24 weeks, there was nothing they were going to do. Because she was not viable medically speaking, and
mm,
there was no
mm.
quality of life. So apparently they were going to do nothing and just let her kind of die naturally. And we were like, that's not going to happen. Because we'd been through one loss. We never expected to have a preterm baby. It just happened
Yeah.
suddenly. And only for me to get to hospital, and I was told I was in labor and they could not
Wow.
stop it. So I thought it was something they could stop based on my research, but because I was far too gone, they couldn't even stop anything. I couldn't get steroids. Everything happened like in a flash. But I also knew that in some countries, based on my research, because after the first loss, I'd done so much research, I was
Yes.
kind of on top of it. I'd known that, some babies can survive before 24 weeks. So we kind of put pressure, and that brings me back to my point about advocacy, that as women, you also touched about, when we share our stories, that can help people on their own journeys and help them make better choices and hopefully have better outcomes. And that's
Yes.
why it's so key that we have these conversations, because you just never know who you're going to help. So based on that, I knew that it was important that I spoke up. We spoke up as a couple, and when I wasn't being listened to, my husband would get involved and put his foot down, and then that would make them sit up and do something. But because of us speaking up, they decided trying to keep our daughter alive, and the idea was to hopefully she'll pull through. Well, 11 hours after she passed away,
Mm. Wow.
unfortunately. Dealing with two losses within a space of 10 months was tough. So I was lucky that I got pregnant second time easily and quickly, because I wasn't sure if I was going to have another delay. But I never expected that I would lose our baby. So yeah, so there was pain.
Yes.
It was
Yes.
tough. And then the questions of, will I ever conceive again? Would this happen to me again? I had something called preeclampsia, where you have high blood pressure, and in my instance, the first instance, the placenta detached from the baby, and that's why our son died.
Yes.
It was a placental abruption.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and they tell you sometimes with preeclampsia that it could happen again. So you get different medical advice. So I wasn't even too sure if it was going to happen again, how soon to try again. So there was different and conflicting medical advice. So for me, walking through all of that, and after I'd processed everything, I got to a place where I felt I could help others. And
Yeah.
I didn't want the memory of my children to be something painful, but I wanted something beautiful to come out of my story. Because naturally I'm a very positive person. I supported women, prior to pregnancy. I'd run a mentoring platform, supported women on their own personal journeys. I was more about personal development and empowerment. So I actually had to begin to preach to myself,
Yeah.
that I'm not going to stay here. This wouldn't kind of be the end of me. And I'm a lover of butterflies.
Yes.
And for me, butterflies signify so many things: beauty coming out of something very painful, light at the end of that tunnel. For me, I had to apply all of that to myself, and I wanted to turn my story around, and also to kind of, I believe that my children are not dead. I believe they're in heaven. And it was a living legacy for them. So I turned that pain by wanting to support other women and to bring other lives. So for me, I've been on this journey, in terms of supporting other women for over 12 years.
Wow.
And for every child that is born and every woman that I support, and has a baby at the end, or actually is able to smile and kind of live again, for me, that is the end product. For me, I feel that I'm doing it for my children. And for me, that kind of solidifies the healing that I had and reinforces that healing, and motivates me to keep doing what I do, because I
Mm.
know that being in a place of pain, being in a place of grief and loss is a very difficult place. You know, I
Yes.
mean, there are times, when I just thought, you know what, I just don't want to wake up. I couldn't kill myself because I don't believe in suicide personally. But I just wish that, I'll just sleep and, just not wake up because the pain was too
Mm,
much.
mm,
And
mm.
nothing was taking it away then. I just couldn't deal with it. Dealing with people's questions, people that thought, oh, you had a baby when I went back to work 12 months after, asking how's your baby and having to explain there's no baby and this happened to me, bumping into people on the road, bumping into people in the supermarket, and you're not expecting to have those conversations and you have to bring it all. So there were many triggers. It's funny, my son was born at 11, 12, and for the first couple of months, every day at 11, 12, I would just look at the clock. And for
Wow.
some reason, I don't know how, I just, looked at the time. And that brought all those memories back. Going to a birthday party, my son's name was Isaac. So anyone that was called Isaac, each time I come across a person called Isaac, I remember, funny enough, my second consultant after we lost our first baby was called it was Mr. Isaac. So all those
Wow.
memories were always flooding in different ways and forms. But I just say that I wouldn't let this triggers, after that journey and that process of walking through this, I didn't want those triggers to be negative, and and I wanted a time that would come when I'll be able to smile when I thought about my children. So for me, it was important that pain. So when I think about them now, it's not from a place of pain, but it's from a place of purpose. And for everyone that I interact with, everyone that I support, for every baby that is born, I just feel I'm part of that story, and they're like a gift to me. So even though they're not mine, they're a gift to me. So that was the reason. And I just wanted to make sure no woman walks this journey alone. And everyone is on a different is on a different place on that spectrum of healing, on that journey,
Yeah.
and it's supporting women through that journey. For those that I've come in contact with, however long it takes, because everyone has different needs, everyone processes their loss in different ways,
Yes.
and the disappointments. So for me, turning pain into purpose was that even from broken things, beautiful things can come out.
Yes. Wow. Wow. This is powerful.